go over some hip flexor stretches for our runners. This is number 1 of my 4 runners only segment for the next 4 weeks. All about common running injuries and things runners can do to improve, but guess what? Hip flexor tightness is common in everybody because we sit and the hip flexors get tight, we drive and the hip flexors get tight, we sleep and the hip flexors get tight, and then we run, which is a lot of hip flexor tightness, we bike, a lot of hip flexor tightness, and they get
tight.
Exactly. Mike, say hi to everybody.
How's it going?
All right, so Mike's going to help me out today. So the first thing we want to talk about is stretching the hip flexors. And I'm not talking about the quad. I'm not talking about your quadriceps or your rectus femoris. We're talking about that iliopsoas, the one that runs from the front of your spine to the hip, okay? Tough area to stretch. When you do it right, you feel the stretch right in through here. So first we go to the straddle step. Mike's going to stretch his left hip flexor. Then he's going to tuck his butt, bring the back foot in a little bit, kick it in just a little bit, then tuck the butt down, okay? It's all about tucking the butt down, all right? Mike, turn towards me. Back, toe in, show that butt tuck. Boom, that's key. And that'll load the hip flexor right here. Once it gets loaded here, you can drive the knee forward and then reach up and over, okay? And that'll get right in here. If you're feeling it right in here, you're doing it right. If you're not feeling it right in here, you're not doing it right. Release, and it's probably not getting that load. Show them from the front. So it's a straddle. Back foot gets tucked in just a smidge. Pelvis down, nice. And then reach up and over. If you want to make it even a touch harder, you can open up this way just a smidge. And it's all right here. That's where you feel the stretch. So that's your hip flexor stretch. Hold it for 30 seconds. Great for anybody with tight hip flexors, but essential for my runners. These muscles get tight because we run and we sit and we cycle. These muscles become relatively weak because we're not doing this all day. So this is actually important because as these get stronger, this will start to relax. It's a neurologic reflex called reciprocal inhibition. Now, let's hit it on a 45-degree angle. Want to hit that glute med. So stretch band on the feet. We're using the CLX band, and you're just going to do about a 45-degree proprio kick straight back, just like that. Hips are level, knees straight. Turn towards me. Actually, go on an angle like this. So people, go ahead. So people can see the angle. Okay, it's on an angle, and it's getting right into the glute. Okay, very, very important stabilizer. Turn towards all the way towards me, and I'll show it on the side. Very important stabilizer, okay? That'll get into your glute medius. But when you run, it's not about this. It's not about this. It's about pulling through. Do you know your hamstrings and your glute max are active about 80 to 90% of the time? So how to get them activated is this exercise. It's going to be a pull through with a stretch band and then a hamstring curl, okay? Statically is one way to do it, but a best way to do it for a runner, let's face the camera, is what we call cranes, where you're going to pull through right with the running motion. Go ahead, Mike. And just pull through right there and recover. And then pull through, engaging the glute, engaging the hamstring. These muscles, as they get stronger, will actually help to reflexively inhibit the hip flexor. Excellent exercises. So do your hip flexor stretches. Engage the glute medius selectively with proprio kicks, then do some cranes with the band. Using one piece of CLX band is all you need. The cranes and the proprio kicks, sets of 10 to 15, do 3. And those are your tips to release the hip flexors. I'm Dr. DeFabio with Mike. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you next week. It's for runners only.